It was a beautiful week because it taught me so much. And that's the message for today. Like, subscribe, and share. Hi! The gratitude journal for the period of August 4th to August 8th. A lot has been happening. The crazy nights, the crazy dreams have started to dissipate. They are now more tangible, more understandable, and less exhausting. So yeah, we can start to rest again. Maybe not everyone yet, but then maybe you started a little bit later. For me it all started Friday night last week. So yeah, 1 week is enough of almost no sleep. And then of course we had very interesting spontaneous conversation that has been published this week, which was also recorded this week with my dear friend Leonard from the Philippines. And we talked there about all the polarities we have in life: the dark, the light, the good, the evil, the bad, life and death. And it's no coincidence that the day we intended to publish it, that specific aspect, life and death, came on my path, like in my face, clearly. 1 minute before I was about to start a Zoom call with somebody, I get a notification that an aunt of mine has died. And it took me like a minute or two to actually realize, like, okay, like actually knowing what to do, because there was so much in the on the path of having that conversation and everything, and that I really needed to take a few steps back. So the person was actually a few minutes late, which gave me the time to really let it sink in and start to realize, like, oh yeah, this is not, yeah, I really need to cancel this call now, and there are other things I need to do. And so I managed to cancel the call just before the person came on. And then of course I called my father, and we had an emotional conversation. And then I contacted my cousins and an uncle of mine. My cousins meaning mainly those, the kids of my aunt who died. And I entered a dark moment, a dark, many hours actually, maybe even a 24-hour darkness. And it was only yesterday that I realized what really had happened, because yesterday again I had a call planned and was very close to cancelling it, but something in me told me, no, don't cancel it, you had your 24 hours, now focus, you need to have this call. Okay, so I had the call. I didn't mention anything, I mean towards the end probably I did, I think, but in that call my life energy was triggered, and I really felt it flowing. And in the whole call the life energy was really flowing very strongly. And so I experienced the two polarities, going from one moment being still fully with death and loss, and then the other moment, like in minutes, life. And that was also what we had been talking about during the week in that recording, the spontaneous conversations, which you really should watch. I mean, you will see now something popping up here, and you can click on that, or you just scroll down and go to the description of the comments, and you can watch it. And then after the call, I talked with a friend of mine. A friend of mine immediately was like, "Hey, is this really your pain?" And I realized it was not my pain. I had literally, in this case I didn't make a copy, I believe. Actually, I believe I carried part of the pain my father was carrying. I mean, he had so much trouble dealing with this, losing a younger sister. He's the oldest, so whoever died in the family is younger than him. And he already had lost his brother a few years back, and his wife, my mom, longer before that, and then his own parents, of course. So, yeah, at his age, friends of his also start to, yeah. So for him it was really tough. So I felt somehow unconsciously that I had to carry some of this burden. And because he lives in Tunisia and the Muslim tradition or rule, which dates from beginning of the Islam, which was in the Middle East where it was really hot, burials need to take place within 48 hours. So yesterday, because this happened on Friday, so yesterday, yeah, Saturday was the burial, the funeral, whatever you call it, and I called him after he got home, and I felt the peace in his voice. He went from total shock and lack of acceptance to accepting, and he also could find his peace because my aunt was suffering. She was very ill, and so for her it was an end of a long period of suffering. And that is the part that puts things in perspective. I'm talking about polarities. Of course the kids say it's a huge loss, because they're not going to see their mom again. But if you're a little bit further from it, like when it's your aunt, for example, you're less directly affected, and then you can already see that, okay, I'm happy for her. I'm happy her suffering ended. And she had quite some suffering in the past 10 years, I believe. And I loved her very much. So when even I say that it's this slight distance, it's not a lack of love, it's more compassion. And so I'm happy for her that she died. For her, not for those who stayed behind. But those are the polarities that we experience in life, and many of us don't have the balls to say this out loud because they're afraid of how other people may perceive it. Like, you cannot say that, you will step on some people's toes. Yeah, when people have toes long like this, yeah, they may get stepped on. But life and death are inseparable. They're connected and they can never be disconnected. There is no life without death, there is no death without life. There's no light without darkness, and there's no darkness without light. There is no creation without destruction. There is no destruction without creation. Just look at how the universe works. A big bang can be seen as creation, but it's also destruction of whatever was before into a big kaboom. And then from that big kaboom and the ashes of that big kaboom, clouds of dust start to come closer and closer together and start to form stars, solar systems, galaxies. And at the middle of the galaxy there's this black hole that is destructive again, that is sucking up everything slowly and slowly until the whole galaxy is sucked up inside, and then again it's a kaboom, new Big Bang, or whatever it is. Solar systems themselves are already doing it. Our sun is going to burn up all the, I think, hydrogen or something like that. And at a certain moment it will just collapse on itself and then poof, supernova. Beautiful to see in the sky. But it means the end of Earth. End of Mars, Venus. Mercury will already be gone long before that. And so it's always this cycle. And it's our judging that's actually harming us. It's not the loss of a person, the death. It's our judging. And when my father was diagnosed with cancer again, and I said, there's nothing we can do about it, I had a conversation with him. Of course he was down. When I called him, I literally thought I called the wrong number. I didn't recognize his voice. And then I had a conversation with him where I literally told him, like, let's say there is nothing they can do, but there is always a possibility to start chemotherapy, radiation, all that kind of crap, which may extend your life by a few months. And often you see that it's the family that is pushing the ill, the person who's about to die. And they say, yeah, but you need to keep fighting! Yeah, in some cases the fight is only extending the suffering. And it's rarely the person who's sick who actually wants it. And if he wants it, it's rarely because he wants to continue suffering. It's because he doesn't want to leave the others behind, because the others are not ready to let him go. So it's the fucking egoism of those who will survive that is pushing the already suffering and sick person to suffer further, to get even sicker, because chemotherapy and radiation are just poison, pure poison, and they rarely work, especially chemo. But it's the pharmaceutical industry who keeps pushing for it because they make a shitload of money on it. And yeah, it may extend life a little bit, and it will give the illusion that people are fighting and they didn't go without a fight. Whoa! What is this thing with us always needing to fight and to resist and not to accept life the way it is? It's this mentality that results in most of our problems, in most of the shit that's happening on Earth. Fighting, 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 and resisting. That is, resisting nature, not other people's bullshit. We, the human race, is the only life on Earth that if wiped away, the Earth would simply clean up. And there would be no ecological damage. Where if the bees would be extinct, there would be ecological damage. If whatever other race of life would be extinct, there would be an imbalance in nature. Yet we have this destructive mentality, this lack of acceptance of what is and how it's transforming. And you see it now. We have this whole corona situation. And it doesn't matter if you believe or disbelieve whatever is going on. The fact is, there's not much we can do about certain things. We have entered a reset of human life, of society, the way we know it. And the reset will continue, even if there are many who are trying to resist it. It will happen. So where to focus your energy? On judging, pointing fingers, or on taking your own responsibility, taking your life in your own hands and start working on yourself, start growing, start adapting. We humans, we can adapt. Like any other living being on this planet, we can adapt. So why not adapt to the situation? The smart ones have been doing this. That's why they have been successful. Not all successful people were corrupt and dirty. There were plenty of them who were simple human beings who accepted the situation and then went with the flow and found how they could benefit from the flow instead of trying to go upstream all the time. So I really encourage you to judge less and to start looking at what can you do to improve the quality of your life, and what can you do to improve the quality of life in general on earth. How can you serve others? By taking good care of yourself first, but also thinking about others. And stop with the, how can I get this, how can I make that? I mean, all these programs, how can I make 1 million, or can I make 10 million, or whatever. It's all about how can I get more, how can I take, instead of what can I offer. So let this sink in for a moment. And see you in a couple of days when I record my next video. Yeah, it's called the Daily Gratitude Journal. But I'm not recording it daily. I'm not even recording it every 2 days now because it's simply not doable. So I accept. And not judging myself like, yeah, but the title is wrong. And then I already went from every day to every 2 days. And now it's 4 or 5 days. Yeah, so what? Sue me. Yeah, that's me talking to myself as well. Like, so what? Sue me. But no, doesn't make any sense. Actually, by recording the video today, I have multiple days to look back at and to see how things evolved. And it's a combination of the different events on the different days that helped me realize what was there to learn, why things were going the way they were going. Of course, I felt very bad on Friday, but then on Saturday, things started to change. And in the end, today I'm looking back, I'm like, yeah, it was a beautiful week. It was a beautiful week because it taught me so much. And that's the message for today. Like, subscribe, and share.